Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. The holy appearance of the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Gaur Purnima Mahatsava ki jai. Jai bolo Shri 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 Panchatattva ki jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Shri 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 Jagannatha Baladeva Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Shri Shri Prahlada Nrsingadeva ki jai. Shri Shri Chota Radha Govinda ji ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Govinda ji ki jai. Shri Shri Chota Radha Kalachanji ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Kalachanji ki jai. Shri 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 Radha Kalachanji Dhama Gaura Bhakta Brinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hri Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. It's actually Adi 3:15. Sorry. So it's Adi, Adi 3:15, right? Yeah. You just put it up on there. Yeah. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Jashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tiravana Chari. Yamuna Tiravana Chari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gauranga Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Jaya. Jaya Acharya Thakur Srila Prabhupada. Acharya Thakur Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Srila Prabhupada. Vaishnav Thakur Srila Prabhupada Jaya. Jaya Patita Pavan Srila Prabhupada. Patit Pavan Srila Prabhupada Jaya. Jaya Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada Jaya. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Patita Pavan Srila Gurudeva. Patita Pavan Srila Gurudeva. Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Pri Rajagacharya Astotarasta Shishimad. His Divine Grace Srila Bhaya Charanarvindam Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita Yatha Rupa Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavata Mahapurana Ki Jai. Shri 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 Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Kalachanji Ki Jai. The holy appearance day of the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Gaura Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. Jai. Please repeat after me. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai. Shri Gaura Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Kalachanji Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. So today we're reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 13. Text number 15 is on the board. 15? 315, yeah. 3.15. Hare Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhya vaishnavebhya namo namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. The verses on the board? Yes. Okay, so please repeat after me. Jaya Sri Chaitanya Chandrera Bhakta Chandragana Jaya Sri Chaitanya Chandrera Bhakta Chandragana Sabara Prema Jyotsnyaya Ujjavala Tribhuvana Savara Prema Jyotsnyaya Ujjavala Tribhuvana Jaya Sri Chaitanya Chandrera Bhakta Chandragana Savara Prema Jyotsnyaya Ujjavala Tribhuvana. Please repeat. Jaya Sri Chaitanya Chandrera Bhakta Chandragana Savara Prema Jyotsnyaya Ujjavala Tribhuvana. Jaya Sri Chaitanya Chandra Bhakta Chandragana Savara Prema Jyotsnyaya Ujjavala Tribhuvana. Jaya Sri Chaitanya Chandrera Bhakta Chandragana Savara Prema Jyotsnyaya Ujjavala Tribhuvana. Jaya Sri Chaitanya Chandrera Bhakta Chandragana Savara Prema Jyotsnyaya Ujjavala Tribhuvana. Jaya, all glories, Sri Chaitanya, of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chandrera, who is as bright as the moon, Bhakta, devotees, Chandragana, other moons, Sabara, of all of them, Prema Jyotsnyaya, by the full light of love of Godhead, Ujjavala, bright, Tribhuvana, all the three worlds. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Let's all, please repeat after me. All glories to the moons who are devotees of the principal moon, Lord Chaitanya Chandra. Their bright moonshine illuminates the entire universe. So all glories to the moons who are devotees of the principal moon, Lord Chaitanya Chandra. Their bright moonshine illuminates the entire universe. Somebody want to read the purport? Start the first verse.
In this verse, we find the moon described as Chandragana, which is plural in number. This indicates that there are many moons. In the Bhagavad Gita 10:21, the Lord says, Nakshatranam aham shashi. Among the stars, I am the moon. All the stars are like the moon. Western astronomers consider the stars to be suns, but Vedic astronomers, following the Vedic scriptures, consider them moons. The sun has the ability to shine powerfully, and the moons reflect the sunshine and therefore look brilliant. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna is described to be like the sun. The Supreme Powerful is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, or Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and his devotees are also bright and illuminating because they reflect the Supreme Sun. The Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22:31 states, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Andhakara Yaha Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Radhikara. Krishna is bright like the sun. As soon as the sun appears, there is no question of darkness or nescience. Similarly, the present verse also describes that by the illumination of all the moons, brightened by the reflection of the Krishna sun, or by the grace of all the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the entire world will be illuminated despite the darkness of Kali Yuga. Only the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can dissipate the darkness of Kali Yuga, the ignorance of the population of this age. No one else can do so. We therefore wish that all the devotees of the Krishna consciousness movement may reflect the Supreme Sun and thus dissipate the darkness of the entire world.
I'm going to read an associate verse that elaborates on this in a way that's very appropriate for today. Nagare nagare brahme kirtana kariya bhashaila tribhuvana prema bhakti diya. This is Lord Chaitanya again. And from Chaitanya Charitamrita, again, this is verse 32 in the same chapter. The verse translation reads, the Sankirtan movement went on from one part of the town to another, as the Lord wandered everywhere performing kirtan. In this way, he inundated the whole world by distributing love of Godhead. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, one may raise the question how all three worlds became inundated with love of Krishna, since Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed kirtana only in the Navadvip area. The answer is that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. The entire cosmic manifestation results from the Lord's first setting it into motion. Similarly, since the Sankirtan movement was first set in motion 500 years ago by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire that it spread all over the universe, the Krishna consciousness movement is continuity of that same motion. In continuity of the same motion is now spreading all over the world. And in this way, it will gradually spread all over the universe. With the spread of the Krishna consciousness movement, everyone will merge in an ocean of love of Godhead. Jai, Hare Krishna. So, as first I'll just say Om Gyanatimrindasya Gyan Janashalaka Chakshurvitamiya Tasmai Shriven Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Shmate Tamal Krishna Goswami. So as Sri Nrsimha Rupa Prabhu started at Mangalarti by saying that today is a very, very happy day for us. Actually, the happiest of all days. I remember when I first joined in the early 80s, we used to consider Go Purnima as the first day of the new year. And actually, when the calendars came out, our Krishna conscious calendars, Hare Krishna calendars, ISKCON calendars, the first day of the year was Go Purnima. That's how the calendar started, and would end on the day before Purnima as the last day of the year. This is how important this day is to us. And very, very amazingly, I thought of this verse last night, that I should speak from this verse. And amazingly, this morning you said that Lord Chaitanya wanted to distribute the fruit of love of Godhead freely to everybody, and he didn't consider who was qualified and who is not qualified. I was thinking to myself when you said that many times when we do anything in our lives, we want to be organized. Prabhupada actually said organization and intelligence. These are the two things which will allow ISKCON to spread nicely, so this love of Godhead can reach the three worlds. Prabhupada actually said the three worlds. And here we see the answer given in verse 32, how it is going to be that all the three worlds will benefit from ISKCON, and how ISKCON will go down in history as having saved the universe, the whole universe, in its darkest hour. Because Kali Yuga is the darkest hour of any universe. And so Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita describes that he becomes very happy with a person when that person spreads the message of Krishna consciousness. He actually uses the word in text 68. He uses the word supreme secret, the word supreme secret. One who distributes this supreme secret or spreads the message of this supreme secret to others is most dear to me, and there will never be anybody more dear than he. And that was Lord Chaitanya's major purpose of coming here, to help us understand what is that supreme secret. In the Bhagavad Gita, the supreme secret is explained in one way. The supreme secret is described as that the purpose of life is to engage in the loving devotional service of Sri Krishna, joyfully, tolerating all kinds of impediments. This is the secret that's told in the Bhagavad Gita. Now Lord Chaitanya comes, who is Krishna himself, and he unpacks that secret in a way that actually makes a lot of sense to us. Because to say, be joyful and tolerate all kinds of impediments is not an easy thing to do. It's actually not an easy thing to do, especially tolerating all kinds of impediments, right? It's very difficult. Especially some of those impediments can be very difficult impediments to overcome, as in the case of Srila Prabhupada, while he was coming to the West at such an old age to spread Krishna consciousness, he had 2 heart attacks on the way. Heart attacks are not easy to tolerate. Anybody who has them know. It's actually the most difficult thing. It's actually, you get this close to dying. That's how bad it is. And the third time, Lord Krishna himself came and put his hand over Srila Prabhupada's heart and saved him, because he said that I would not have survived the third one. Just would not have survived it. I mean, what impediments, right? So, Lord Chaitanya, in this verse, the first verse that we read, gives us a clue. What is the clue? The clue is that every one of us who is in the Hare Krishna movement is like a star. Everyone is like a star. But Srila Prabhupada said, I did not come looking for stars, I came looking for moons. So, how does a star become a moon? And Prabhupada's clear answer was by preaching. He says, preaching is life. When we preach, what happens is others come to learn about Krishna, and they can actually also then practice the supreme secret of loving Krishna with all of their heart and soul, joyfully, tolerating all kinds of impediments, they can also do that. But it still doesn't really tell us what is it that we do that will truly make us moons. And for that, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna, comes as Lord Chaitanya to show us. And what does he show us? He shows us three things. He shows us chanting, he shows us feasting, and he shows us dancing. Now, to translate from loving Krishna with all of one's heart and soul, joyfully, tolerating all kinds of impediments, to chant, feast, and dance, you can see what happens, right? Is there any wonder why Lord Chaitanya is described as Namo Mahavadanyaya? Because he's so merciful that he takes this, in a sense, very difficult philosophy of Sarva Dharman Parityaja, right? Give up all varieties of religion. Actually, Prabhupada defines religion before that in the Bhagavad Gita as love of God. So if you take love of God as the definition of religion, Lord Krishna is saying give up all varieties of love of God and simply surrender at my lotus feet. And then he uses the word braja in that sentence, right? And that's a heavy clue there. Why? Because that is our original home. That is the only place where you can actually serve Krishna fully and completely. This is not the place. This is a prison house. This is a place of reformation. This is a place where we correct ourselves so that Krishna will think that, yes, this person, when they come to Golok Vrindavan, will have an amazing time there, will be very happy. Because just like in this world, all of us together are trying to make Krishna happy. In Golok Vrindavan, Krishna is making everybody happy. He turns it the other way. He's the one who's trying to make everybody happy. And everybody just loves Krishna like anything. They're completely in love with Krishna. And they're also completely in love with anybody and everybody and anything else that's there in Golok Vrindavan. They just see qualitative no difference between Krishna and every person and everything. So, now that Lord Chaitanya is explaining to us how to actually be fully Krishna conscious, we can see that in the Hare Krishna movement today, there are many, many people who are preaching very nicely. And one can only preach according to one's capacity. Please don't think that, here is this Maharaj or this Mataji who is preaching so nicely that tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people are flocking to the person. And when I speak, pipsqueak, it's like a mouse, hardly one person is listening to me. Don't think like that. The reason you don't want to think like that is why Lord Ramachandra came on this planet. Lord Ramachandra came to show that actually Krishna is, and I use the word here, Gata. Gata, it's a G-A-T-A. It stands for generates all, and also the generator of all things, and at the same time the terminator of all things is Krishna. Krishna is the generator and the terminator of everything. So it's Krishna who actually allows us to do things. And if he allows us to do something, we'll do it. Now, if he allows us to do something little, that's okay. Qualitatively, that little is as great as the greatest, because that's the nature of qualitative oneness. Lord Ramachandra gives the example that when he wanted to build the bridge to Lanka from Kanyakumari, he wanted to cross the bridge to retrieve his wife, his beloved consort, Sita Rani. And so he asked his devotees to build the bridge. And so Hanuman would come with huge boulders. And the spiders on the beach would pick up one grain at a time and crawl to the ocean edge and throw the grain into the ocean and crawl back again, pick up one more grain. And so when Hanuman came through, sometimes the line would be going through of the spiders, so he'd wait. Once the line was over, then he would cross and go and drop the boulder, come back and wait again for the line to get back. Then he'll go and pick up more boulders. So then the spiders thought, this is not very good. We're slowing Hanumanji down. The faster we build this bridge, the faster we're going to get to Sita Rani. They all love Mother Sita so much. They're completely in love with her. Just most beautiful personality in creation. So they said to Hanumanji, if you don't mind, we're going to take some symbols and we're going to chant Hare Krishna. We'll chant Hare Krishna and you go back and forth faster with the boulders. We'll get the bridge done faster. So Hanumanji said, well, if you take the name of Ram, you take the name of Krishna, I'll be very, very happy. So he became sort of like doubly empowered. So he was like going back and forth faster now, and the bridge was building faster. So then, what Lord Ram would come, every once in a while Lord Ram would come to supervise the operation. So when he came, he saw that the spiders were sitting together like sadhu sangha, one place, chanting Hare Krishna, singing and dancing, and Hanumanji is completely like in ecstasy and he's going back and forth and the bridge is really building. And Lord Ram became very angry. He became very angry. He said, stop. He said, who told you to sit down here and chant Hare Krishna? And he said, well, we just thought if we did that, then Hanumanji can go faster. Because every time our line would go, he'd have to wait. And so we were slowing building of the bridge down. So we thought if we chant, and he loves to hear the holy name of the Lord, we love the holy name, then he'll become even happier and we'll build the bridge fast. He said, no. He said, I gave you the capacity to pick up a grain of sand, and I gave Hanumanji the capacity to pick up a whole mountain. I can switch it right now. You all will be picking up mountains, and he will be picking up a grain. Now, there's something in this that we should understand, which Lord Chaitanya actually came to teach us. And that was what you said this morning. That Lord Chaitanya does not discriminate between the qualified and the unqualified. Those who are unqualified are only unqualified because Lord Chaitanya hasn't given them the qualification. That's all. It's like you're born, you don't expect to get a certificate that you're now a Bachelor of Science in Medicine, right? You can't expect the certificate immediately. It takes a little while to get that certificate. So all living entities are going through a certain type of lifestyle, which is actually the arrangement of the Lord, because He wants every one of them to become a guru. Notice in all of Lord Chaitanya's writings, in all of Lord Chaitanya's philosophy, there are many, many instructions. There are millions of instructions, but only one order. Amara Gyaya Guruhana Tarai Desh Yarita Kitarikaha Krishna Upadesh. Only one order. Millions of instructions. One order. An order cannot be disobeyed. An instruction may be disobeyed, and you will have a way of overcoming it. But if you disobey an order, well, that's it. You just decided to go in the opposite direction. We decided not to follow that order in our previous lives, which is why in the 15,000 times that Lord Chaitanya came before this visit, because Lord Chaitanya comes once in a day of Brahma, Lord Krishna comes once in a day of Brahma. He does things that are very unusual, stealing butter and dancing with, damsels in the middle of the night, and bringing the sun down during a big war, taking it up again. People don't understand why Krishna does all these things, So he comes to explain his Leela, why he did that. He gives the knowledge, so we understand how it is all perfect. So in this Leela that Krishna gives, we can see that we actually, even though 15,000 times before Lord Chaitanya came, we didn't go back to Godhead, right? Why didn't we go back to Godhead? The reason is contained in this particular understanding of Krishna consciousness, The Krishna consciousness movement is those 2 verses we read, just so that we can spread this Krishna consciousness movement everywhere, including the 3 worlds, the whole universe. So for all of us, our first priority in our life is to preach. And everything we do in our life is meant for that preaching. And the 3 things that will help you preach the easiest is chanting, feasting, and dancing. If you tell people, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, they may or may not be so interested. But if you tell them, come sing with us, come dance with us, come feast with us, who's going to say no? Who doesn't like feasting? Who doesn't like singing? Who doesn't like dancing? Now, some of us know that we sing like frogs. We croak when we're singing. It's okay. It's okay. The Lord doesn't hear the croaking. He hears the love in the heart of the devotee who is singing. So when the singing is done from the heart, that is actually, Prabhupada would sometimes stop a kirtan midway through the kirtan because it became too melodious. They could see the leader was trying to focus on the melody and would stop. And he said, no, chant Hare Krishna. Don't get into the melody so much. Now, it's always good to have good melody because then people become more enthusiastic and they dance like that. But really, the purpose is that the holy name be pronounced. And when we do that, what happens is that all living entities, all personalities come to know Krishna and love Krishna with all of their heart because it's already there in their heart. Krishna consciousness is already in everyone's heart. It just has to be manifested. Just like in a match, the fire is in the match, but when you strike the match, then the fire comes out, right? So the fire was inside the match. It's just that when you did the striking process, then the fire came out. So in the same way, the striking process for us is chanting, feasting, and dancing. When we chant, feast, and dance, then it comes out. And we can see this in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, that there's so many devotees. Actually, in some of the scriptures, it is described that Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, Vetacharya, all the great personalities there, Vakeshwar Pandit, Prabhu, so many of them in the Chaitanya Charita had unlimited number of disciples. Each of them had unlimited number of disciples. I mean, that's hard to imagine, right? That so many, everyone had so many disciples. So what was it? They were trying to get these persons to change from being stars to becoming moons. And the whole process was chanting, right? Chaitanya Charitamrita, one end to the other end, is the philosophy of preaching, the philosophy of chanting. So today is the day when we can actually seek the blessing of Gauranga Mahaprabhu so that we may also preach nicely. And the first person we have to preach to is our own mind. Because our mind gets in the way a lot of times. Therefore, that wonderful song is there, Bhaja Hure Mana, Sri Nandanandana, Abhaya Charanar Vindare. That actually we're trying to be saying to our mind, oh mind, please come to the shelter of the fearless lotus feet of Lord Krishna. This is actually the meaning of the Vedanta Sutra's aphorism, Arthato Brahma Jigyasa. This is what it means. And I want to tell you a little story before I stop and I'll ask you if you have any questions that you'd like to say. So you understand. The conclusion. What is the conclusion of everything? The conclusion of everything in this world is there's going to be a huge devastation. That devastation is going to be so bad that no one will survive. Huge torrents of rain will come, lightning bolts as big as Texas. Huge boulders of ice will fall. There's no way anyone will survive. They'll all be smashed. So the Bhagavatam relates the story. Devastation is happening. And Markandeya Rishi is there in the ocean. Now Markandeya Rishi is an amazing devotee. He was such a great devotee, he got a blessing one time. Devotees get blessings all the time, right? People love devotees, so they give nice blessings to the devotees. So he got a blessing. The blessing was that he will live as long as Brahma. Now, we know in this world, some people like to prolong their life, right? They want to live longer. They pray that they'll live longer. Acharyas actually say it should be the other way around. Live shorter. Get out of here. This is not the right place. But anyway, a lot of people, the blessing is, may you live a long life. So anyway, he got that blessing, and as a result of that blessing, he would live now the life of Brahma, which is 311 trillion years of our time. So then somebody who really loved him a lot came to him and said, this was in Satyuga, so he said to him, let me build you a nice house. Now I'll tell you something about houses in Satyuga, okay? In Satyuga, the houses were so beautiful. The floors would be inlaid with jewels, the walls, jewels, it's like everything is so beautiful that when you look at the house, you fall in love with the house, just like a boy falls in love with a girl, with all of his heart and soul, like that. So the houses were so very beautiful, and nice, large houses, very aerated. The sun would be able to come in through the roof, this, that, and the other. All just amazing things happen. What was his answer? His answer was, life is too short. What's the point of building a house? Life is too short. 311 trillion years. It's too short for Markandeya Rishi. That Markandeya Rishi is in this devastation ocean. He's the last one to go, right? So he's in the devastation ocean. What happens? He sees this leaf floating in the ocean. And it's a little bright. He sees a little brightness and he goes closer and he sees it's a leaf. He gets closer, and who does he see on that leaf? Krishna. Baby Krishna is on the leaf. We said that Krishna is the generator and the annihilator, right? So he's there. He's the one who's the annihilator. He's there. But what is he doing? That is the interesting thing. What is he doing? He's taking his toe and sucking his toe. Think about it, when we're babies, right? For those of us children, they suck their thumb all the time. You have to get them off sucking their thumb, right? I mean, it's their way of being comfortable, at peace, happy. Krishna is sucking his toe. Why is Krishna sucking his toe? Because his toe has so much nectar in it that even he enjoys that nectar. There's how much nectar is in the toe of Krishna. This is why we say we offer our businesses at the dust of the lotus feet of our spiritual master, right? When we say the spiritual master, or to Krishna at the dust of the lotus feet. What is that dust? That dust is actually devotees who are actually in love with Krishna, and they're so addicted to the nectar at the lotus feet of Krishna that they hang around the lotus feet of Krishna as dust particles, as saffron particles of love. So that tells us what is the ultimate purpose of life, right? Instead of chasing this and chasing that, and particularly Lord Chaitanya says, do not chase dhanam, janam, and sundarim, right? Don't chase wealth, don't chase followers, and don't chase, sensual life like that. The idea is that Lord Chaitanya comes and shows us by this blissful process of chanting, feasting, and dancing, we'll all be very happy now, and then we'll be able to go back to Godhead. And we can see that those devotees who are really into chanting, feasting, and dancing, their faces are so bright. Why are they bright? Because they're no longer stars, they become moons now. The moon is bright. The star will not have much brightness, but the moon will have a lot of brightness. The star will have some brightness, so we should be stars. We all become devotees, we're all stars. But when we preach, when we sing, when we dance, and we feast together, that's when our greatest brightness comes out. And today is the day when we should do all of these three things very nicely. So today we've arranged a program, right, around 1 o'clock to go out, and 1:30? Yeah, go out to, what is that store again? Trader Joe's, across from Trader Joe's. So that'll be really nice, chanting and dancing there. This evening, after the palanquin comes back, we could do feasting as well. And then tomorrow is the big feast day, because it's the day of Lord Gauranga's father, Jagannath Mishra. And so he celebrates the appearance. And so breakfast will be a special breakfast tomorrow. Make some extra items so that make some larger quantity everybody can have. And if you're not coming to the temple, eat at home. Just have a nice feast at home. Start the new year with a feast. That's the idea. And of course, singing and dancing. Hare Krishna. I'm going to stop here. Ask if anything, want to say anything. Yes, Prabhu. There you go.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much for a wonderful class.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
There was a time when devotees hear the Prabhupada is coming. Everybody started cleaning the temple and did their best to please Prabhupada.
Yes.
Now Prabhupada presents everywhere to the Guru Tattva.
Yes.
And now how we can rise above the mentality of this is my Guru, this is my temple, and preach Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and feel the same mood like Prabhupada is coming. Prabhupada is coming.
Yeah. Nice. Very good. Very, very wonderful question. So to do that, one thing that we have to understand is we have to get out of the mentality of I, we, and mine. Aham mameti. This mentality is the opposite of Krishna's mentality. Now, it's also a valid mentality because in the material world it works. We can see that a lot of people do a lot of things within that mentality. But that's not the mentality of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness mentality is that by seeing others unhappy, we become unhappy. By seeing happiness in others, we feel happy. So it is focusing on others, right? So when we're focusing on others, we can see that is what Srila Prabhupada did, right? Srila Prabhupada, even though he was 70 years of age and really didn't have very good health at all, and especially after he crossed the ocean, his health was really, really bad, right? And yet he had so much enthusiasm to reach out to everyone, whether they were qualified or not qualified, right? And give them Krishna consciousness. So if we see everybody as a child of Krishna, as very beloved to Krishna, everybody, whether they're devotee or not devotee, see everybody, so-called devotee, not devotee, everybody's devotee, Jivera Surupoi, Nitya Krishna Das. Point is that if we see everybody as the object of Krishna's love, and we are the instrument of Krishna's love, then the instrument is used for the object, right? So we use ourselves to please others by giving them the most pleasurable thing in creation. What is the most pleasurable thing in creation? Love, right? And the greatest love is love of Krishna. Love of Gauranga Mahaprabhu is the greatest love. And that was what Prabhupada came to do, right? He came to give us this love. And so because he gave that love, everybody became so happy that just that Prabhupada is coming gave them the feeling that they were going to be in ecstasy when Prabhupada came. And actually they were in ecstasy when Prabhupada came, right? So then that expectation is going to be in our heart, that it'll be ecstasy when the person takes to Krishna consciousness. This is the greatest thing a preacher actually enjoys. When you're preaching to somebody and they accept Krishna consciousness, it is the most amazing feeling that you can get. It's like pure nectar, And those of us who do preaching, we become addicted to it. We actually become addicted to that nectar. We want to reach out to more people like that. Does that make sense? Yeah? Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for beautiful class.
Thank you.
Actually, you answered many questions I have been going through in my mind, but I still have one more question. So, how do you deal with this emotion? Like, you mentioned preaching is the essence, right? And that is the best thing to do. But you are growing in your Krishna consciousness, not in the consciousness per se, but in the number of years. But you are still not able to preach. You give the nice example of spider. But how do you deal with this emotion? Like, hey, I'm spending time, but I'm not really doing enough.
Yeah, that is always going to be there. Even the gopis feel they're not doing enough. And we all know how much the gopis are doing, right? Nobody does more than the gopis. and they feel like that. That's a good feeling, to understand that I'm not doing enough and that I must strive harder to actually preach and to reach out to others and serve the deities, serve the devotees, serve the people, like that, living entities, serve living entities, like that. That feeling should always be there. But the thing is this, that it's the mind that's telling you that I'm not good enough. That's the mind. Why the mind does that? Because the mind wants us to stay back in the material world, because it can only associate with us. The mind is material. It can only associate with us if we're in the material world. If you go back to the spiritual world, and of course if you're nice enough, please take your mind with you to the spiritual world. Train your mind to become Krishna conscious as well. Once the mind becomes Krishna conscious, the mind doesn't think like, why am I not doing or doing? The mind just thinks of new ways of how to preach more and more and more, and how to encourage others to do the same thing. That's what the mind does when it becomes Krishna conscious. But before it is Krishna conscious, it will try to stop us. So you have to ask ourselves the question, who is speaking? Is it the mind speaking or the soul speaking? The soul is always very enthusiastic about Krishna consciousness, because that is its beloved. That's eternal beloved. It's like, a boy and girl are very closely in love with one another, and they can separate it. Both are thinking when they can get back together again. You see what I'm saying? So in the same way, the soul is always thinking, when can I get back with Krishna again? So the soul will speak whatever helps you get closer to Krishna. It won't create doubts in your mind. It won't create feelings of being incapable in your mind, you see. It won't do that. But the mind will do that. The mind will do that. So then we tell the mind, okay, I've already stayed with you billions of lifetimes. Time out now. You please take some rest. I mean, you must be a little tired by now, right? You've worked very hard and kept me trapped in this world all these little years between you and the intelligence and the false ego. You three got together and trapped me here. But now all three of you take some time out. Enjoy some prasadam. Let's sing and dance together. But let me now do what I really want to do, which is to love Krishna and to love his devotees and to chant, feast and dance and go back home, back to Godhead, right? Why back to Godhead? Not because this world is a bad place, but because there the capacity to serve is more. Just like in a prison, you can get paid 50 cents an hour. So looking after your family, you can earn, Hare Krishna, Jai, Radha Kalachanji Ki Jai. You can only earn $20 a week, 40 hours at 50 cents, right? But if you go outside jail, you can earn $200 in 1 hour, or to speak of $20 in a week, right? So the idea is to get out of the material world, because there the capacity to serve is bigger, and then we can do more service to Krishna. The more service we do to Krishna and his devotees, the happier we will feel, because seeing their happiness will reflect on us. Just like the moon reflects the sun, right? It is the sun's brightness that is reflecting. Similarly, we should be reflecting the happiness of others. When others are happy, that should reflect on us, and that's the happiness we should feel. Not the happiness that we concocted, some false idea of happiness that is my happiness. There is no such thing as my happiness. Your happiness or my happiness, anybody's happiness is a reflection of Krishna's happiness, because Krishna is the original. We are reflections in this world. When you go back to spiritual, we're no longer reflections, by the way. That's why the original never leaves. This is another argument that we have between those who say, why did we come here or not come here? One of the arguments is, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, neither do his devotees ever leave Vrindavan. But the expansions can leave, for one reason or another. Does that make sense? Thank you. I have to stop here now, sorry. Ladies, I didn't ask if you had any question on the ladies' side. I have a class to give online. An international group is waiting. Anybody? No? Well, yes, Mataji, please. You might wait for the mic so others can hear what you're saying.
So the difference I want to understand, like when we come here, we pray, we do chanting and all, and we love.
Right.
And the difference between it's called surrender the Krishna. Is there any gap how to surrender just doing this, or is there any gap in between?
No, there is and there is not a gap. The idea is that when you are now chanting, feasting and dancing, it's the quality that is important. And qualitatively, less and more is the same. You see what I'm saying? So qualitatively, there is no difference. Now, quantitatively, you feel like you want to do more, right? So in that sense, there's a gap. It's a little like when you're earning money and you earn $5,000 a month and you feel like, I want to earn $20,000 a month. There's a $15,000 gap there. So you rise and you get to the $20,000. So in the same way, we keep doing what we're doing, the chanting, feasting, and dancing. So then what happens is that we transfer to the spiritual world, and there, and by the way, that spiritual world is not the original spiritual world. That's in the material world where Krishna is performing his pastime, but it's as good as the spiritual world. And there, we do chanting, feasting, and dancing, or with Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and we can go to both places. The soul can split and go to both places at the same time. And there, when we do the chanting, feasting, and dancing, it becomes perfected in a way that it becomes like what we call eternal chanting, feasting, and dancing. Unlimited chanting, feasting, and dancing. Here we feel there's some sort of like limit. I only did so much chanting, I only did so much feasting, so much dancing. But actually in the spiritual world, the numbers are always unlimited. Everything's done in an unlimited level, at an eternal and unlimited level. So there is no gap in the sense, what we're doing now is just as good for us, where we are. Just like primary school education is just as good as university education for a primary school student. But that's where they are. That's what they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to be studying university subjects in primary school. So we are progressing towards Krishna. On the way, wherever we are, what we are meant to do, if we do that, that's perfect. And then perfection means we will advance. And then there'll be perfection there too, in advance. Until we get to the spiritual world, then there's unlimited perfection.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. All glories to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Jai Vanchakapa Turuscha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavnebhya Vaishnavebhya Namo Namah. Jai Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.
His Grace Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai.
Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.
Thank you, Nityananda Prabhu, for the wonderful class. Let's give him a big Hari Bol. Hari Bol. So we have a wonderful day of festivities ahead of us. The kirtan will continue going on in the temple room throughout the day. And then, as Nityananda Prabhu mentioned, at 1:30, we'll gather here and go to Harinam at Trader Joe's on Greenville Avenue. So please, we encourage everybody to come together for that. It would be very nice if we can all go together and share the holy names with everybody on the most auspicious day to do that, on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day. And then at 4:45, we'll come back and we'll come back before that time and continue having kirtan in the temple room. And then at 4:45, we will have Abhishek from 4:45 to 5:15. And at 5:15, we'll have class by His Holiness Ritapaja Swami, followed by Gaur Artik. And at 7 p.m., we'll go on the procession together, taking Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda out on their palanquin. We'll do Harinam in the neighborhood here. And at that same time, prasadam will also be served for those that have to go home because it's Sunday and some of the children have school tomorrow. And then we'll come back in the temple room and continue doing bhajans and kirtan until everybody goes home, so as late as possible. So thank you so much. Let's take today to distribute this holy name with as many devotees as we can. As Nityananda Prabhu mentioned, let's be very happy today. Let's focus on serving each other and serving all of our guests with a very wonderful mood. And by doing so, pleasing our spiritual masters and Srila Prabhupada and getting the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Thank you so much. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So now we'll have kirtan by Jai Gauranga Prabhu and Mother Tulsi Saki.